Hello peeps and welcome to Sundays with Sparky. How is it going? How is it going, everyone? I'm going to talk about the videos I've uploaded this week briefly, and I'm going to touch on the movies that I've watched this week, and I'm going to keep that fairly brief as well because I want to talk about Blizzcon. Blizzcon, yes, exciting times for games and stuff. This time of year is always quite interesting for games, and then the rest of the year not so much. So we're going to touch on the movies first. I've been slowly working my way through my Alien Quadrilogy box set. I think I started watching it last week, so you probably would have heard me talk about Aliens 1 and 2? Maybe? Or Alien and Aliens, I should say. I didn't realise that Alien 3 was actually directed by David Fincher, who did two of my most favouriteest movies ever, Seven and The Fight Club. So, and recently Gone Girl, which I saw. So that was interesting. I didn't realise that he did that. Also, I didn't realise that Joss Whedon actually wrote the Alien 4, or whatever it's called. I think I said that the third one was my favourite. I'm not so sure that it is anymore. I don't know if I have a favourite. I think I like the first three fairly equally. I think the first one is probably the most scary. I think that's probably the most kind of like sci-fi horror type. I think the second one borderline action movie. And then the third one is pretty much an all-out action movie. So there's not too many scares in the third one. I like the setting of the third one, and Charles Dancer's in the third one, and some other great English actors are in the third one. So maybe that's why I liked that one more than the others. I don't know. Anyway, that's enough aliens. We need to talk about other stuff. Otherwise we're not going to have enough time. So we had 3 more episodes of the Borderlands pre-sequel this week. One from me, one from Suki, one from the McGumps as usual. So they're all in the playlist. I think the next episode is due out tomorrow, and that's going to be episode 10. So there's quite a lot of episodes to get through if you haven't been keeping up to date. But they're all in the playlist, so you can find them all fairly easily. Just go to my channel page and they'll be right there, second playlist down, so you'll be able to find them really easy. We had another new Trouble in Terrorist Town video, which is possibly my favourite one so far. And I chuckled. I didn't really notice some of the stuff that goes on in this whilst we were actually recording, and it's not until you come to edit this and you're like, did they just say what I think they just said? They did just say what I think they just said. Okay, well, I'm going to make use of that. And so I did, and I was chuckling the whole time I was editing it, and it took a good hour or so to edit it, this one sort of bit in that video, which if you have seen it already, you probably know which bit I'm talking about. It's the bit with the lovely piano music. There's great piano music. Thinking about it now, it makes me chuckle. Watching it, even though I've seen it loads of times from when I was editing it, just watching it, it makes me chuckle. I think it's possibly one of my favourite ones I've done so far. So it's only just over 10 minutes long, so go check it out because it's funny. And then we had this week's Big Deck Player, which was a Elemental Shaman deck. Just trying to find decks this week was just such a major ball ache. I don't think you understand. Warlords of Draenor is coming out really soon, like just a few days now, so I'm excited for that. I still don't have my copy of it, so I'm not really sure when I'm going to be playing yet. Hopefully very soon. So, moving on, BlizzCon. What a weekend that was. I'm still trying to catch up with my virtual ticket because there was so much going on. there was a little bit of information about Warlords of Draenor and some of the upcoming changes and stuff. Nothing too major, because most of that was done last year for the expansion release. So I think by now most people know kind of what they're in for. So there was a little bit of that. So that was good. Red Shirt Guy was there as well. So that was good seeing him there, giving them more questions. This time they could have given him a proper answer as well, which I was a little bit disappointed. I was hoping he'd give them something else to think about and get them get them stuck. So that was fun. What else was there? There was some more news about new heroes and stuff for Heroes of the Storm and what they're playing for future stuff of that. That was quite interesting. I'm only just getting into Heroes of the Storm, so it's not something that I really knew a lot about anyway. So some of the stuff they were talking about I didn't really understand. I was just like, I don't know what this is. So I only sort of spent a little bit of time with that. I haven't actually had an opportunity to watch any of the Diablo stuff yet. So I don't know anything about what's happened in Diablo or what's coming up for Diablo. I know they was talking about treasure goblins, new types of treasure goblins, and stuff to do with that, which is quite interesting. StarCraft 2 I know absolutely nothing about, so I'm not even going to talk about it because I've never played it, and although the characters and the story look interesting, I've never played it, so I don't know anything about it. The main thing I was interested in was Hearthstone stuff. Turns out the new expansion is coming out next month. It's coming out in December. I was like, what? But what? So that's cool. It's goblins versus gnomes. So there's going to be lots of goblins and gnomes. And there's also going to be mechs, which are not necessarily a new concept, but they're because we've got stuff like the Harvest Golem already and the Demolisher, and I think they're going to be classed as mechs now. So you've got beasts and you've got Murlocs and you've got pirates, and now you've got mechs. So there'll be mechs in the game. So you'll have cards that synergize well with other mechs, and a lot of the cards that I've seen so far have random stuff about them. I kind of like the random element because it kind of throws caution to the wind and you're not really sure how the match is going to go. And there's some cards that could end up being really awesome and winning you the game, but at the same time they could end up losing you the game because they might go the other way. There's a new card, it's like a shredder, and when it gets destroyed it has a death rattle that it summons, like I think one of them summons a random 4-cost creature. So it could be any 4-cost creature. So yes, lots of exciting stuff there. The other exciting thing that I learnt about is a whole new IP from Blizzard, which I totally wasn't expecting, because we heard a while back about them cancelling their Titan project. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. And people were speculating about this big gap that was on the con floor. There was this big gap, and there was lots of computers there, and no one knew it was for. And there's this new game, whole new game called Overwatch, which is it's a first-person shooter. A lot of people have been comparing it, like initially, to Team Fortress 2, which they've openly said, you know, if that's what people are comparing it to, then we're very flattered because TF2 has been incredibly successful. So that's fair enough. I mean, it has. It's been around for years and it's still going strong. But the difference with Overwatch is that not only do you have like guns and stuff, but you also have special abilities on some of the characters. Yes, you've got some characters that make turrets and some that make teleports. But you also have you have a much larger range of characters to choose from. So you don't just get a medic or a heavy or a scout. you have kind of, you have those sort of classes, but each character themselves have different abilities and stuff. So some might have a big kind of force field that your teammates can shoot through, but your enemies can't shoot through. So it's like a one-way shield thing, which is pretty cool. Some do little teleport things where they kind of blink forward and then they can reverse their time so they can go back to where they were 3 seconds ago. There's some that can shoot giant dragons from... it looks really good. It's colourful, it's bright, and I think it's going to be a nice kind of alternative to what we have had and continue to be getting with first-person shooters. I have been contemplating playing the new Call of Duty, but I don't know. It just doesn't look all that interesting. But Overwatch, I saw the trailer for that and some of the gameplay footage of that, and it looks really cool. I mean, you've got some characters that have... I think one of them's got like a jetpack so they can fly up in the air. You've got another one that can climb walls and run, like, do a little bit of parkour, like a tiny bit of parkour. As I say, you've got one that does like little blinks forward and then can reverse back. You've got one that can like construct little tiny turrets and a teleporter for your team to go from one place to another. And you know, there's so much variety, and I think that's the main thing, is that it looks nice, it's very colourful, everything looks good, and there's a lot of variety in the different characters you can play, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on it and giving it a try. I think they start the closed beta next year sometime, but I really don't know when. But I'm really looking forward to it, so I suggest you go check that out. I will try and get some screenshots or something to put in this video so you can kind of see a little bit of what I'm talking about. I've already talked for far too long about this on this video for today, so I'm going to leave it there. I'll see you next week, and we'll talk more about some movies and video games and stuff. Alright, thanks for watching, peeps. See you later. Bye bye.